9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
What up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. TK Trinidad here for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. We are WWT Live, the Wednesday edition. And I am not alone. The PR princess herself is in, I want to say the building, but clearly not the building. In the building. Well, in the metaphorical building. Courtney, how are you doing?
You could say that in the building. You could say that. Hi, guys.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Of course, tonight, AEW Dynamite's happening later tonight, but we have a lot to cover from the last couple days and also ready to get started.
That is true. And I was going to say something, but I don't think everybody's privy to that conversation, so I won't. The double champ, the councilman, we popped this cherry on Sunday. Will Ferrell in the building. Hey, Eric. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Dylan. Will Ferrell, the councilman, one half of the WWT Tag Team Champion Division, is in the building. And here's Beulah.
You're on mute.
Can't hear
you. You do no research at all. At all. First, you call Flobo the Pod Godfather, and it clearly said the Podfather on his shit.
Oh, did it? I didn't even know.
It says what my name is on here, and you didn't still messed it up. Don't, Dylan, you don't have to clip everything. You don't have to clip every single thing. Okay. I know she pays you well, but you do not have. There's certain things that just don't need to be clipped, and that doesn't. Okay. I'm not from Canada. That's funny for her. Where I'm from, that they gonna look at me very weird.
Well, how are you doing today, Will?
I was okay till that entrance. I was very much okay until that entrance. For some reason, you keep riding this thing for some reason. I just shouldn't have told you this was my first TNA show.
I apologize.
I should have told you that. I'm not gonna never.
I mean, that's a fun fact.
To just say, hey, we got to introduce him to his first TNA show. I see why Professor looks at you the way he looks at you now.
Wow.
Wow. It makes sense. It's all starting to make sense. That's why Beulah looking at you the way she's looking at you.
No, it's almost time for her walk. So that's what it is. My computer may or may not go out because I have a bunch of windows and editing software up. So I apologize in advance just in case it does. However, this is going to be a terrible transition, so we're not going to. Big congratulations to Carmella on her second baby. She announced her pregnancy on IG yesterday, and the pictures, oh my gosh, it's so funny because when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, that's a cute picture. And then I had to look down because I'm, if you guys know Sarah the Rebel, I'm notorious for not necessarily reading everything. Clearly didn't read the caption. And then I looked down and I saw her belly. I'm like, oh, and then I read back up. I'm like, oh, she just announced she was pregnant. So congratulations to her. Miss PR Princess, do we think that after she has the second baby, now 2 kids in, is there a storyline in there for her somewhere eventually?
I would not be shocked if it was. I wouldn't be shocked, especially what Corey Graves said a couple months ago. I would not be shocked, especially if it's involving something of her husband. But I think after when she was on Tamron Hall, when she did that interview after she got released, I would not be surprised if she was incorporated into a storyline or somebody mentioned her.
Will, do you have any things to add? Any congratulations or any announcements of your own?
what would I have announcement wise for this?
I don't know.
What? I don't have no announcements for this news, but I mean it's dope, especially like the journey she's been on. In the past when it's come to having a baby, you know, the fact that she was just like blessed to be able to finally have one, and now being blessed to be able to have a second one, I just think that's the even more important thing. I don't even know if I don't even think about like just going back to the wrestling thing. I'm just glad that she's able to be blessed with extending out her family. So congratulations to her. And if she comes back, I think there was always a place for Carmella in this fold, no matter what, even with baby, double baby, whatever. I think there was always a place for Carmella.
I just wonder if it would be more on like NXT to start with, and how that would play out in general.
I say SmackDown. You especially with the US title division, I think with the girls that are in there, I think she'd work perfectly.
Yeah,
I could definitely see.
Yeah, because there's a familiarity with all the women. You know all the women in that division and kind of have that. And also, she's had some good moments on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, she has.
All right, Natalia. Definitely get it correct. She sends a message back to Kenzie Page ahead of the NWA pay-per-view that's coming up on May 17th, the Crockett Cup. How do you think this is going to play out? I mean, we discussed her on Bloodsport, and she did a phenomenal job there. One, do you think this was? Of course, it's been a discussion because WWE, you know, is not blindsided by anything. But what do you think the ultimate goal with this kind of forbidden door with NWA? How is this going to play out? We'll start with you, Will.
I don't care.
Okay.
Just like I think the rest of the world don't care. I didn't even know NWA was still a thing until y'all said Natalia is going to fight for a women's title, which I also is the announcement. Just found out that there was a women's title in NWA.
Really?
Thought they had one belt. That was it. Thought they just had the NWA Heavyweight Championship, and that was it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on a serious note, now that I've talked my shit about the vote, I think with WWE like buying up AAA and stuff, I think it would be a smart move for NWA to get under the WWE umbrella.
Really?
I think it would be an incredibly smart idea for them to get under there. We had mentioned it before when they said Natalya was going after the belt. I think all of her knowledge and history she got that she could bring to that locker room for the women, it could be something very, very incredible. Even with her, I think at her as champ, not even like falling to the champ like Kenzie Page, but actually like being champ. I think she could really bring some prestige to NWA, and I think it still falls under that. It still falls under the. I don't want to call it nostalgia, but it still kind of falls under that genre what NWA strive for. Like, you know, they're not trying to be flashy. They're not going for the high flyer type of thing. You know, it's still kind of that collegiate old school wrestling, and I think there is still a platform for that somewhere. And I think having it under the TKO brand could really help it because it's obviously not doing well right now. Because I didn't even know.
Oh.
Like, who's the champ?
For NWA?
Yeah, yes, TK.
Who is
The fact you Googling it.
I have to Google it.
The fact you gotta Google it strengthens my point.
No, I disagree because I know people who actually would know who the champ is.
But you don't.
Yeah, I just because I don't doesn't mean that
Courtney,
I don't.
do you know without you hitting your
decided.
computer?
Oh,
No,
well,
I
was
really don't.
Here, that was a stupid question. Not by you, but in the totality of it, Kenzie Page is the champ, NWA Women's World Champ, which makes sense why her and Natalia are going against each other. With that being said,
you meant the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, she knew. See, Courtney, you knew. Yeah, she just tried to be a smart ass. She knew exactly what I was talking.
It goes back to what said when we were at the Queens of the Ring. I don't really care for penises like that.
Courtney, it's your turn. It's your turn, Courtney. Let me
just like segue after that pause.
Yeah.
Just segue into it. I'm really bummed I can't be attending this event in
Alex
person.
Taylor is the world junior heavyweight champion, and Tom Latimer is is the world heavyweight champion.
All of them sound like people who do your taxes. They need the help. She don't.
No international
She
champ. I'm lying. There's more. Big Mama is so here's an education lesson for those who don't get to watch it. Big Mama is the world's television champ. The Mid-American champ is Jeremiah Phuket, and NWA world television champion Carson B. Drake, and NWA national champion Mims. So there it is. With that being said, I want to piggyback, Courtney, do you agree with said? Dad, are you coming after me like you come after said? Geez,
Yep. We don't even have names no more. We don't even have names no more. Cedric is penis number 1. I'm penis number 3. So obviously, since we ain't respected, so that's what we're going for. Then I didn't know that on WWT. Okay.
Courtney, do you agree or disagree with Will as far as NWA should be bought out by TKO?
She didn't say it right. Do you agree with penis number 3 about NWA being bought out by TKO? Let's just address us how she sees us when she's on here.
Oh goodness.
I would not be surprised if WWE, actually, no, let me rephrase. TKO bought NWA because with the historical history NWA has, plus with the fact the Crockett Cup is happening. Mm-hmm. Oh, Dylan, you sneaky little Aussie.
You're the wanker from the future.
You're just a sneaky little thing.
Oh, my goodness.
That's you doing.
And it's only Wednesday, but going back to my point, Wednesday. I would not be going back to my point regarding NWA, I would not be shocked with the fact of the history NWA has, and also with Natalya being under that WWE umbrella. It is going to be an opportunity for people, especially if they're not familiar with the brand and the history that's been behind it. And also, I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably would not know who currently runs it, because just a little fact, Billy Corgan runs it. If you don't know who he is, he's the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, one of my favorite bands. So that's a little fact right there. Yep, that's one of my favorite bands, the Smashing Pumpkins. But it's really nice to have it. And also, I think Billy does have a good relationship with WWE because he is a huge wrestling fanatic, and he's mentioned this a lot in his interviews in the past. And I think it would be a good opportunity. And if the boat wins, this could also be a good opportunity to open that forbidden door and a lot more eyes in NWA. And it could be possibly another business model they could look at.
I mean, financially, it would make sense. I'm just thinking, like, would they all just become, like, essentially a WWE product?
So would you rather it be a partnership like TNA? Would you think that'd be a smarter choice?
I kind of see. Here's the thing: it's kind of like TNA. You're seeing the forbidden door, and you're seeing things. You're seeing things happen that would never happen if TNA was by itself, right? However, it kind of almost feels like there's no separation between church and state now. So we're seeing things that we've kind of wanted to see. However, I just feel like it might not be good for the longevity of the difference in wrestling, meaning that eventually it'll just all become a monopoly, and not TNA, and TKO will now own all the major brands. And then it's going to kind of put us back to where we were before AEW started. Because at one point, before AEW started, it was just a monopoly. We just had WWE, and of course we had TNA. But as far as the major, brands, it was just WWE. And I remember that time because it was like, Flobo and I, we were doing the post shows for Raw, and Raw just wasn't that great because there was no competition. I feel with the competition with AEW forced a lot of things to happen with WWE, and it's never not that AEW took over the dominance, but it's like there was competition. So it forced WWE to rethink some things and to put them in the position that they are right now. And so if they essentially buy up all their competition, then it kind of almost gives way to, okay, well, we own everything and we can do what we want to do. And so I don't know on a financial sense, it makes sense, but on a creativity sense, I don't know if that's the best play. So that's why it's kind of almost back in the day when we were waiting for everybody to be called up to the main roster. Oh, we can't wait for them. And then they get called up to main roster. And then a lot of them just got lost in the sauce. So that's kind of why I'm like hesitant on, the buyouts and the buy-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I'm just a Canadian girl trying to make it in America. Somebody who hasn't made it, Metaphor. I don't know if you got, because I know you've been sick, Will, if you got to see NXT yesterday or if you watched it from bed.
Oh, yeah. I hope we get to talk about it, too.
Well, we're going to talk about it right now. So Metaphor parts ways. What do you think, they at least announced it? Because, sometimes they have teams and it's like all of a sudden they're just not together anymore. So at least they kind of addressed it. What do you think was the reason for it, and what do you think is going to happen now?
The Meta girls are going to go on to great things, and them other two are going to end up where they are in catering.
Well, the Meta girls apparently also are separating ways, and it looks like Lash is going to go on her own as well as Miss Jackson.
Ooh. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Because we know the star in Metaphor. We know the star. That's Lash. Mm-hmm. And Lash is about to do some big things. I don't know if they're going to keep her in NXT. I think it'd be smart to keep her in NXT, but I'm a little hesitant and worried about Jakar and where she might find her place. Aura's doing good in Evolve. I've seen some of his matches in Evolve. It's pretty good. I think that's smart for him to hopefully kind of give a resurgence to himself and kind of start over a little bit and come in with that class and make some great things happen. Noam Dar,
he just came back from injury.
He did, but to give him the Heritage Cup again, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. His is very iffy. He's a good performer, but it feels like he's missing something. I know, Cindil. You know what we want to get to. You already know what I'm trying to talk about. But of course, we got to go in order because nothing matters what I think because I'm just a penis here. So,
oh my God, here we go. You said you could whatever will you want to, whatever you want to go.
Whatever it is that the women want. Also, by the way, we have another penis present. I'm gonna ask TK first if it's okay that he's allowed to come in, but the mayor has to change his name to penis number 1 because we don't get names. So obviously, we're not important here anymore. That's what TK let us know.
Wow. What did I walk into?
Dylan is penis from the future. I'm penis number 3. Mayor, you're penis number 1 because she don't prefer us. So
okay,
there's no equality in WWT anymore. Is what she knows.
Wow. Okay.
We segregated again. That's what it is. I didn't know.
You know what the problem is? We had Women's History Month, but there's no Men's History Month, and that's the,
wow.
Oh my
wow.
See, look at that. You just expressing yourself and see how problematic that got. It's not fair for us penises out here no more. Damn. Does that mean it's harder for us too because we got penises and we black? That's like double now for us. That's crazy.
What'd you
Yes.
do, TK? What do we do here?
What did I do?
TK has brought us back to 1937, except the roles are reversed. I guess I got to go cook the meatloaf tonight and get the kids ready while you come back from the job. I got you. I understand.
I mean, at the way it looks for my life, that's probably what it's gonna be.
How was your day at the sawmill today, TK?
Huh?
How was your day at the sawmill? I have your dinner ready. The kids have been washed. Homework is done. I vacuumed as well and cleaned the windows.
Said, did you
Yes,
get to watch
ma'am.
NXT?
I'm still behind on a lot of wrestling. I know what happened on NXT, but I didn't watch the entire show. That the WrestleMania hangover was very real for me on a number of ways. But I do know what happened. It seems like, and people were kind of in uproar of it, or on social media, it seems like we're breaking up a lot of factions with no real plan. I'd like to know what's going on there. I think one of the core stories in the men's division is this Stacks versus Tony D thing, and I still don't care much.
I care a little bit now. I care a little bit now. It hit me a little bit.
And I think Trick Williams actually, to me, this is probably the most believable Trick has been at the top of the card. Because I haven't believed him as like the next ordained face of the brand. They were doing it. I didn't believe none of it. I just felt like they forced it. But now it feels like he kind of feeling himself and it kind of got some swagger to him. He's like, I'm bigger than NXT. I like that. I think he should carry himself with that type of cachet. It makes more sense, and the men's division needs it right now. Because I challenge any of you to name 5 people in that battle royal next week.
Ethan Page, Javon Evans, Ora Mensah, Noam Dar, Lexus King.
See, but you are avid NXT watcher. It was,
okay.
That was more of a question for the other two. You know.
All right, so them two.
Names.
You can't name what I just named. You can't name the people I just named. You got 20 others you can name.
Because apparently, it's supposed to have LFG talent as well.
Ooh, yeah, and especially what we saw with the Undertaker coming out talking to Oba.
Right.
Wait, so are you asking a question or what?
Yeah, like which men? There's going to be a 25-man battle royal to determine the next challenge for Obafemi, and it's a chance for new stars to kind of, we're building new stars here. LFG talent's going to start merging into NXT. There'll be some TNA talent there, but what I saw was that a lot of people felt like that match itself lacked aura.
Now, Courtney, can you tell that to TK since she can't hear us? Because she don't. I guess she don't understand penises no more.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Because apparently you can.
Wow. You know
ways.
what? Thank you for that, Dylan. Because I barely got my FaceTime last week for my 2-year WWT anniversary, but this is important because
however, did you not receive a gift?
We don't got to talk about that on air. It's in the bank. It hasn't been spent yet. But the mayor is very appreciative of that. But this is important because y'all gonna stop playing me putting Natalia on this run sheet. And I think she's on this run sheet multiple times a day. So you're really trying to piss me off. So a year ago today, Natalia got that work. I just want y'all to know that. A year ago today, she thought she was going to do this little character she was doing now a year in advance, and it didn't work. She got her ass whooped. Just want y'all to know that. In the underground, my client's match.
She did get that one.
But I'm going to be somewhat nice today because I actually do have a favorite Natty moment.
Okay.
A favorite.
Oh boy.
And you guys want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
You want me to share it with y'all? Okay.
Of shows, the boat is that the best of all time. What I see before me is the Battle of Canada, the Fighting Canucks. Let's see just who her opponent is and his Italian.
First off, the cameraman ain't shit for that. They should have definitely said to move to another camera. They definitely should have done that. That's so.
You raggedy bitch. You raggedy bitch.
Oh, a timer right there. That's
in the words of Bart Simpson. Oops. My finger slipped.
I
That's
don't
my favorite
understand.
moment, you know?
Yeah, I agree, Sindel. That was awful. I cannot let you, hate on another Canadian like that.
How am
It's
I
not very
hating?
I made it happen.
That was a child.
It ain't hate.
We hate children here? That was a child expressing her feelings.
First is penises, now children.
The passing that just goes me to say like the heart passing of the glasses is meant for one person to do. Don't be trying to gentrify that, you know? Not meant for you to do.
That was wild. Why they do Natalia like that? They did not have to keep that camera on her. After the first switch the camera. Why y'all couldn't tell Raw is sponsored by?
They were just hoping for the kid to.
It was 3 of them. First, it was I don't want to put the glasses on. I don't want the glasses, and I don't want to high five you. That was 3. By the second one, it's like let's switch camera.
The fact that you found that clip and had it ready is
I'm a professional, you know.
The boat talk is brought up a lot, so gotta have some evidence.
We gotta have some balance here, you know. We can't just be tipping the scales and don't rewrite history for me, you know.
Yeah, we're not changing timelines like Cody Rhodes, okay? But some other things that happened on NXT, TK.
Yes. Go with your moments there, Councilman.
Do tag team champs, Hank and Tank. We hanking and tanking over here. Are we feeling Hank and Tank as the tag team champions? And after they defeated Josh Briggs and that dude that I'll get us canceled if I say his name because I don't know how to say it. Thoughts on the match?
Well, I didn't get to watch it because you called me in the middle of my watching NXT, so I didn't get that far. But congratulations to them.
I didn't call you yesterday.
No, today. You called me today. I was in the middle of watching NXT when you called today.
In Amora, and I think it was that. I think he's actually getting ready to go back overseas, from what I know. So this is like his last ditch effort to get him and Briggs a tag title shot. So it's kind of just like a feat. Really, I think that was more about trying to highlight Briggs because, like Omos, he spent some time in Japan. So I guess now Briggs is going to go back into the singles world where he can probably desperately be used. But Hank and Tank, I think it's a long way because I think when Hank debuted in 2.0, they were billing him like wasn't he a part of no, I don't want to say he was a part of Fallon's like bar, but he was like billed as like the bouncer that just, hey, we're going to try to wrestle. So his character development has come a long way if you really want to talk about long-term storytelling and development. So he kind of found himself, and Tank Ledger helps him bring out that personality. So I think it's a good tag team to get behind. Again, their thing is going to be challengers that make the division stay afloat. Like, I'm not expecting the Hardys to cross over and say like, hey, we want a piece of Hank and Tank, but building more credible challengers in the NXT tag division will be important.
Yeah.
There we go. Security guard.
Yeah, but I think you got like people like OTM, the Culling, and then even Wesley's boys that can really like start being able to form themselves. So we're just gonna see what happens with the tag division. We also had both North American champions in the building, in action. Courtney, I want to throw it to you. Your thoughts on your guy Ricky Saints retaining his title against Lexus King last night?
Ricky, actually, I would say both of them really had a good showing, especially with Lexus King, because this is a good opportunity for him to kind of really get into that. I was very happy Ricky retained. It's just the next question on who's going to be his next challenger. Because, of course, faced off against Ethan Page, I don't think him and Lexus, they still probably have issues with each other after Lexus King lost his Heritage Cup. And also with the fact, I'm surprised Shawn Spears hasn't had a rematch yet, which is bonkers, because I thought at least he would get a rematch and won his title. But I think that's the question for Ricky, is just really building incredible challengers for the North American title and really making that top title that's close to the NXT World Heavyweight title. So for him, it's just pretty much staying afloat, giving him credible challengers, giving him storylines. I would actually love for him to jump into TNA to really be a good opportunity for him to build out some credible challengers. But I'm very excited to see how Ricky's going to go, especially with his singles title, and hopefully just make it memorable, incredible.
Yeah. TK. So Ruka was also in action against Carmen Petrovic in a non-title match and picked up the victory. Your thoughts on her as the new Women's North American Championship, and did they make the right move making her champion?
I think she was leading up to do that. A couple of months ago, they were putting her in different positions as far as the setup. So I did envision her becoming champion. I think it was the right move because I feel like she's relatable so there's two different things on a money sense. I think she's relatable to a lot of young girls, which would mean, merch sales, which would mean you're getting more women, more eyeballs on the product. Because I'm trying to remember, what was I watching? I think it was Raw, where Pat was like swearing on Netflix, which is fine, but it seems like NXT is a little bit, it's not as aggressive. So this might be a good play for kids. So I think she's, the colors, all the things on a business sense make sense. And I feel like they've been priming her to be in this position for a couple months now. So I think it's a good move.
Okay. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes, what we all here to talk about. Women's World Heavyweight Champion returned home to NXT in a tag match with Jordan Grace, who shouldn't have been in that tag match, but that's just me, against my client Roxanne and Julia. Cedric, thoughts on the storyline that has been developing between all of these people in Io Sky, Jordan Grace, Roxanne, and Julia, and now knowing that Julia and Jordan Grace will go one-on-one next week to determine the number one contendership for Stephanie McCurry at Battlegrounds.
So I'll jump ahead. Julia has to win that match next week because it's very clear that Julia won't be in NXT long. If you watch Monday Night Raw, did the watch along, I did say when both women showed up on Raw, seems like this pairing is going to be a thing going forward. And I think it's just so Roxanne can continue to acclimate Julia to the States, obviously to the main roster. She won't have to do any promo work. But to me, the pairing makes zero sense. I know they're trying to do like the whole enemy of my enemy is my friend thing, but you're not doing Julia any favors. Pigeonholing her with Roxanne, and she's also a former champion, albeit a short run, but you want us to see her up here. And I know you want the main roster audience to get used to Julia, but this isn't being done on her own merit. So it's like, why should I care? I think a lot of fans like to see Io back in NXT. Great match. They put on a clinic, but what do you expect? But at some point, to me, you got to take the training wheels off at some point, and you got to sink or swim. Like, you got to be your own character. And I think long term, this pairing with Rox is just going to do nothing but hurt Julia long term. Rox is established. Rox can go up, and she could have started her feud with Bayley off rip. She could have showed up opposite of Lyra, who she defeat for her second title run, and it would have made sense. Hell, I mean, the final boss just retired, and I just got through watching Roxanne's match against Mako Satomura. That's huge. That at Roxanne's young age, she got to work Mako in the States. Not many women got to do that. So it's like, she's established. You need to do that same thing with Julia. And the way they just have her kind of in the background, but then trying to have her come out and look like this heavy hitter, it's not working. So she has to win that match against Jordan next week. And she has to get her rematch one-on-one against Stephanie. And I expect her to lose, but at the same time, they're not helping her with her character work.
Yeah, I think they're trying to copy and paste the same way that they got Io over. So Io got her stuff by being under the tutelage of Bayley. and damage control. So she got very much protected and kind of learned how to be able to be in this business in the American style of wrestling. And I think now they're trying to do that with the Roxanne and may even potentially add someone else there, because I've noticed now like Cora Jade ain't really been on TV that much either. So it might be too that pairing comes back together and they all move up together. But to your point, I don't think copy and pasting the two of them together is a good fit. I agree with the mayor. I think if you're either going to you've pumped up Julia so much to be this person, like let her be it, but she needs to do it though in NXT. She hasn't gained too much, she hasn't gained enough traction yet in NXT. And I think that's the issue too. Like I think like y'all are really skipping out on this long rivalry you could set up between her and Stephanie McCurry. Like friends turned into bitter rivals. Like we can watch that for about 3 NXT PLEs and give us something incredible. But instead, it's like I think with like we talked about with so many people coming, you've stacked up the roster, and now it's like, okay, we need to call these folks up. It's like, okay, cool, but then not yet. Cool, then not yet. Oh, this was good, but this didn't work because we've had this here. And even to your point, Cindy, she has awesome matches, but to what TK always say is you got to follow the money. Julia isn't making them money as much as they need her to. Because even what you're seeing with, like, because again, you're seeing it with Stephanie, and now you're even seeing it more with Io. Io was everywhere for WrestleMania. Yo, she was partnered with Goodyear for WrestleMania, being in the blimp in the sky because she's the genius of the sky. They haven't figured out how to put Julia in those positions yet. And then moving her up to the main roster before you've been able to figure that out, it's not going to work.
That's how she gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah, she's going to get lost in the sauce. And then especially if you have them on Raw, like even what Courtney just said, like Shawn Spears didn't get a rematch. Rhea got 3. So you'll have Roxanne on TV, and then you're just going to have Julia kind of as this sideline character that's promoting her and pushing her forward, which is not fair to Julia. So it's like, yo, let her get on her own, put her in the fire, just like you did Stephanie, and let's see what happens. She either going to sink or swim.
If anything, something has to involve Julia where it draws fans into care. Like somebody important has to be attacked backstage and put on the show for a while. It's like pairing her with Rox is such a disservice because we just saw Rox break the Royal Rumble record for minutes. She was just in the Elimination Chamber. It's like it's not like it's not the piggyback that you expect because Rox is still very young in the company too. If you paired her with, I would expect you to pair her more with somebody higher and established on the roster that's not going to be doing things early. Like if it was like you just want to throw her in damage control, sure, I get that, but like
Oscar and
such
Kyrie.
a disservice to like pair her with Rox.
And
who's on her own trajectory.
And the thing you have to take into consideration, I actually had a conversation about Roxanne yesterday, or the day before. From the moment Rox got into NXT, like Booker T was her unofficial Paul Heyman. So we got to know things about her, not only through, how they presented her, which was done well, but also through commentary. And almost, having, for the people who have respect for Booker T, like that's kind of the stamp. So it's a very big difference with Julia with that. So I definitely agree. You can't necessarily partner Julia with Roxanne because Roxanne's on a different trajectory based off of the buildup that she's been getting every time she touches the ring from Booker T. Like they even mentioned Booker T while Rox was on Raw. Like,
same thing with Stephanie too, though. Like Booker T getting mentioned.
Yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things that you have to find a different way for her. And I think definitely reestablishing her, or not reestablishing her, but not necessarily not putting her on the main roster just yet. I think the formulas that they've been doing for NXT talent before they hit the main roster has been perfect. They're letting them cook, they're letting them develop, and then you put them on there. Not necessarily when you feel like they're the hottest, but when it makes sense and it can carry over. Have them debut in Royal Rumbles, have them kind of touch the main roster sometimes, but really establish their character in NXT. And I don't feel.
I disagree, Sindel. I don't think Julia's had any discernible moments since they put her on camera at the not takeover, but one of the stand delivers last year when she first came to the States, and all this buzz around her finally coming to NXT. That's when they were excited. But on screen in the brand, there's nothing discernible from her that stands out. It's like, oh yeah, this is her era. And the whole women's division right now, it feels like Stephanie's era. Yeah. The entire women's division, the way they position her.
And to prove that, watch the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's like, and I get you have the relationship with AAA, and they're probably trying to buy more companies in Mexico, but like you can do that same thing with the market in Japan. We've seen they don't know how, but that's what it should feel like. It should feel that like it doesn't have to be organic. They should just be able to do it, and they haven't. And I don't know what the disconnect is right now.
I think it is the thing of being able to promote. Like the thing is, I don't think she had she doesn't have, and again, it's not her. Like, I really just think it's also like, again, we've talked about like them bridges that haven't been built yet when it comes to Japan and then promoting in Japan. So I don't think it is just necessarily her. I think it is the way of trying to figure it out. Like EO's 1 in a million when it comes to like these Japanese wrestlers. Like she found her niche, but it took time for that to happen. Like EO was in the main roster for almost 2-something years before we really started to get traction with her. But under that time, you're under the tutelage of Bailey. And so like Bailey's teaching you like how to post, how to talk to people, what to do, how to do these things, how to do this stuff. And Julia doesn't have that. Now she doesn't need that in the ring, but as far as building a superstar, she doesn't. That's why even to Cynthia's point, I get what you're saying. But if you go watch the Royal Rumble again, watch when Jada came out. Watch when Stephanie came out. The pop they get when their music played. Even for Jada, with her needing to change her music, she still got a pop. But then listen to when Julia comes out. That pop isn't as loud. And it's because there is still a disconnect yet, and they haven't marketed her in the way that it needs to be. And that's what they're going to need to figure out from a creative standpoint. I don't think, again, it's just Julia. It needs to be from creative. How is this going to happen? Yeah. And I also agree with Sophia. Stephanie is not the best pound-for-pound wrestler.
Yeah, but looks-wise...
I give you top 5. But I can't say anybody's a better wrestler in the women's division than Bianca or Io.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, but looks-wise, she has it in spades. I also feel like you have to take into consideration what I'm willing to bet is the audience that watches NXT religiously is a much smaller audience than the audience who watches Raw or SmackDown.
Yes,
so the what you have to take into account is I think that's the barometer that WWE is that uses to determine, what the storyline is when and if they bring this person up. And if they come up to a Royal Rumble or any type of like Raw or SmackDown and they're not necessarily getting that pop or they're not getting the recognizability that somebody else from NXT is, then that's a consideration like, okay, well, they're not ready. We need to retool this. And so I think, like I said, when they brought her to Raw, it was just kind of is one of those things where it's just not there yet. It's not there yet. And I think they're really making a conscious effort that whoever they bring up to the main roster, and I use that in air quotes because NXT is cooking all by itself. Whoever they decide to bring up to the main roster, it has to make sense. They don't want anybody being lost in the sauce. Because when you think about it on a money wise, you just spent money on this person through training, through NXT to bring them here for them to get lost in the sauce. You just wasted tens of thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. And so you want to make every person count so they can get a return on investment. So it makes more sense to let them cook in NXT, grow that audience, and then kind of, have that crossover there.
And to be fair, it's gotten the bar has been raised when it comes to that as far as them getting off. Because I'll be honest, like my client isn't even over on Raw and SmackDown yet. Like they know her, but they don't know her like that. Like even Pat McAfee, who's also made my list, you basic bitch. Don't you confuse ever again. Say Roseanne one more fucking time. Now, I can't do that. I can't do that to Lillian. Me, I'll come drop you like a bag of ice. I'll choke you out like Gunther did. You better get my client's name right, you frat boy. But yeah, but to that point of me saying that, she's still trying to get into the mix right now. Even look at Lyra. Like, Lyra still ain't found her footing yet, and she a champ.
That was her best promo
ever
on Monday.
Even Braun Breaker, let's really call a spade a spade. Braun Breaker is a Steiner, and even he still is trying to get over. He just now started getting his footing into it, because even when he became Intercontinental Champion, like, he was there, but it still wasn't there just yet. So it's gotten a lot more. It's gotten difficult for these stars to move up, which is why it has to be more strategic. It has to be more practical, because we have more. We're starting to have it to where the percentage of hardcore fans like ourselves is starting to go here, and the more common watcher is here. And just to TK point, most common people don't watch NXT.
And if they're going to call up Julia now, I can guarantee you, after what I saw last night with all these separations, she ain't going to be the only one come this draft.
Mm-mm.
Like, I can guarantee you Lash is coming, Fallon is coming. And these are people who have more established brands. Like, I can guarantee, well, my personal prediction, I feel like Lash is going to help out Naomi with Jade. And that books her right into a storyline. Gives you somebody eye to eye with Jade that have worked together before in these tag team matches, and the powerhouse aspect, and she has a mentor right off top. Fallon is a great in-ring worker. She can just rely on that mid-card right off top. Yeah. But Julia, pairing her with somebody who's just been grinding hard the past 3-4 years and worked with everybody, has a character, it really does her a disservice. And I want to see Julia positioned better than that, because at one point, if I recall right, there's like a big bidding war over where she was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're heavily invested in her, so it has to pay off.
It's talking about investments and being called up. Jacob DeLawrence is in the building.
AKA penis number 2. You don't get a name, sir, just like the rest.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching the show. Yeah, that's some hater shit, TK. Like, damn.
You've been called it what?
Hey,
what are you talking about?
Like, we don't get no names. I'm just now getting a bio and a headshot tag.
Out here saying you guys don't get no names. I just said you've been called up and you're a good investment. And I said your name. What else do you
want? I'm a good investment?
Now, after all these years.
I've been here for a year and a half at least.
You had a whole show with Mayor right here. You now a good investment.
Oh, you have a whole show with Mayor? When did that show happen?
I just did some
Ziggler right now.
I'm out here doing writings. I was gonna put an article up for WrestleMania about the women's matches that should be immortalized. And then I was like, oh damn, I ain't got a login. I ain't got access no more.
It's 1937, guys.
You want to talk about dirty work? I went back and look at my old work. All it say is by former staff. Like, damn, I can't even keep the byline no more. I can't even keep it on my resume.
Listen. I'm having a old maid card game at 2. Before the ladies get off. Come join me. Have some tea ready. We can talk. We can watch as the world turns.
I'll see you there. Hence why my new tagline is the Meg Griffin of WWT.
Wow.
That's fair.
And everybody shook their head in agreement. That's the best part.
In agreement?
They all shook their head like, yeah, he got a point. Yeah.
It'd be that way.
Oh, geez. But didn't you get some body butter, though? Like, what are we talking about?
Why are you saying that like that buys us off?
Hold on. So real quick. Said, Councilman, I know y'all are local, so your package ain't have to go halfway across the country or nothing. But Courtney, did you get a package?
Yes.
Was your package in one piece?
Yes.
Oh, so it's just me, huh?
Here's my question.
You have to blame UPS for that. I have no control over that.
Here's my question. I'm in downtown. She works in downtown. Why is my body butter being mailed?
Because I've been working from home. What do you want from me?
You have a car.
Oh yeah, I don't.
She had to go to the office at some point.
I don't like driving.
Oh yeah, go. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That I guess the penises have to drop you off. That's right. My
I open up my package. I'm like, ooh, this smelling good. Why my stuff broken?
That you're gonna have to blame UPS for. That has nothing to do with me.
You didn't wrap. You didn't wrap it so it wouldn't happen like that.
Poorly wrapped.
In the shirts. Yeah, it was wrapped.
I'm talking about my shirt covered in candle and body butter. Took 3 washes of some shouting spray to get it clean.
You got the hair nigga package.
But did you get a shirt?
Yes. Yes. I got the damn. I guess I should send him a package since I sent everybody else one.
Be like, here you go. Rub yourself off.
Pretty much.
Enjoy your butters. Damn. And Mayor just got his. That was a side chick. I'm telling you, I'm gonna send it to you one day. I'm gonna send it to you.
Did you?
We gonna go out one day.
We gonna go out one day.
I'm just busy all the time.
I'm definitely the side host. I'm 100%.
You're like, I got it to you though, right? You see, I care.
It may have been half off when I bought it, but that don't matter. Said get his gifts on February 15th.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, I'm spending Christmas with my family, but I'll be over the day after Christmas that afternoon.
Are y'all done? Are you still?
Oh, we can do this all day.
I can do this all day. Yeah,
she can do this all day.
I can do this all day.
Anyway,
do you have anything to add for any pertaining
for
to
NXT?
Yes, I'm having my client. My bad, man.
I know you're good. I was gonna say I really don't know what's going on with the call ups and the plans. I know technically we're in a new season for WWE with WrestleMania passing. Same can be said of NXT. I just hope that they don't gut the entire roster like we normally see. I really don't like Metaphor disbanding. Coolest entrance we've gotten since 2.0 started, and it's like they bounce off each other so well. I get there in different spaces, but I don't know if separating the Meta Girls helps so much when we've seen so much of them as a pair and finally get some legs. And now their leader just came back from injury. Just came back. And it's like, we're not going to do anything with that.
So
that's something that could have been called up as a foursome on the main roster.
That gets lost. Also, it makes sense.
It's the same. Yes. They're the obnoxious heels that just come interrupt everything. It's what you want Pretty Deadly to be, but Pretty Deadly hasn't got over. It's like I was
easy. Literally going to say that's Pretty Deadly. I'll do one better. They're doing the Iconics gimmick, and we see how that worked out. You had to split them up, and then one got
over. Now again, I don't know about that.
They were over, but they ain't get used for nothing. You would see the Iconics for like a good 2 weeks, just terrorizing, being annoying, and then we can't find them nowhere, and then you split them.
But think about the space we're in now versus then, where social media is a lot more important. What they're doing character-wise would have still been trending on social media regardless. Like, and now it's even more prevalent today.
I hear you, but Negro, we got 2 whole ass women's mid card titles, and we couldn't get nan one of them shits on WrestleMania, and we had to use Becky Lynch and the tag belts as a vehicle to get to something stupid. Dog,
you need time.
They got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
what you should have done, you could have broke up Metaphor. I'm not opposed to splitting Metaphor. You need to keep Action Jackson and Lash together.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. Here's why. If you send Lash as the muscle for Naomi, what happens after that's done? Somebody's going to eat those pins. The money's in Jade. Don't damage Lash like that. And more importantly, send them to the TNA
over Jade. Who said why not?
Right.
Why not?
We've seen that.
So if you get 1 but you lose 3 and you end up losing the war, does that 1 really matter?
It's about the journey. It's about having somebody that you
about the journey. KO got that pin over Cena, and what happened to KO immediately following that? He got lost in the shuffle for a hot minute.
He still had
hold on. No, to be fair,
he still had a win over Johnson. You can always call that back.
But and also too, we already know the stipulation behind that. And that's also having to do with Vince, because Vince didn't want a fat guy as his head person.
I'm just saying, there's these things that you could make the argument for. However, I say keep them together. What should have happened is they should have walked out of Rebellion with the tag belts from TNA.
No.
Yes. Let them take them TNA tag belts and let them work over in TNA where you got better talent and a better tag division. And let's get some seasoning over there. Noam coming back. You're like, hey, cool, Noam, we're glad you're back, healthy, appreciate it. But you've been gone and we understand why, but we've grown. We want to keep rocking our things separate, but we'll still be here if you need us, is how you should have took it.
All right, so I'll say it like this then, since we're talking about it. Lash and Jakar. Lash is Roxanne. Jakar is Julia. Jakar Jackson need a lot of work, and right now she is holding Lash back. They have had 4 tag team title opportunities and have not won any of them.
That's why you had to send them separate ways and you didn't take the trope of one turning on the other, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
but
because
like,
Lash is a star. Lash is a star. We see it. She got the shows. She got the mic skills. She's the muscle.
She's the most improved since 2.0, hands down. But
Noam Dar, boring. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It was boring.
Did you watch NXT UK? Because Noam in UK got off and had a personality,
and he lost that when he got to NXT. I don't know what he lost that.
Hold on, Noam's been on the main roster before. That cruiserweight champion, like
205 Live was a weird
and got sent back. And got
he did the whole gimmick with Alicia Fox. That's why he got the sisters in NXT. He got character range.
That's what I'm saying. He got character. They just need to nail it and get it right. I feel like he should just stay in NXT, run the Heritage Cup, be that nice little vet in the middle, cool, fine. He's good.
Yeah, that works. That works. If he stays
nobody. If it was me as Sim Deliver when they did the Penn and Teller thing, the Heritage Cup should have been gone after that completely.
I still say it'd have been dope for them to lift it up and the UK title was back. Like that bring the NXT UK
title would have been dope.
Yeah. That should have been the moment where it's like, oh yeah, the Heritage Cup is gone. They made it disappear. So we gotta announce a new title.
Yeah.
No one's more valuable to the men's division than I think people might think, but the Heritage Cup is holding him back. I think he should be in that main event scene because he can help work a lot of great matches across these talent that are still trying to find themselves.
Which brings me to the point of you say you're worried about them raiding the roster come draft time. What roster is there to raid on the men's side? Now the women, I could pillage the top, and after 4 or 5 people, it gets a little dicey. If we gonna keep it a buck,
for what?
GG gets dicey, Fallon gets dicey, JC gets dicey.
If you starting there, yeah.
Tatum gets dicey. But you're top heavy in the women's division. Sol Ruka is on the edge right now. Zarya needs a little more seasoning for the American style in TV. That women's roster gets dicey if you raid all the top or if you take from the middle and the bottom and try to make it work on the main roster.
But if you think about it, who's on the main roster that's really doing anything outside of a few big 3? Once you go past the big 4, the rest of them get very dicey.
That's my point.
Like you saying like beat Michin and B Fab, but just ready to become women.
No. What I'm saying is that's my point, is that you have a shaky-ish mid-card. Why would I go add more to it when you can't get the Rave Girls out of catering except for like every couple months to be in the tag team gauntlet? You got the Secret Hervis finally cooking, but you pulled the belt off of Chelsea for reasons. So that's probably putting a damper on that.
I don't do that. Zelina deserved that win.
No.
She is a great U.S. champion. Let's not do that.
You want to call a spade or why she got that win, or we just will keep it pushing today?
Listen, man, Chelsea had her time. She was a great person.
You want to call a spade, or are we going to keep it pushing?
Because she finna get that bag, okay? You know all these sponsorships that Zelina done got doing the shit she doing. Let this run.
And that is true.
Yes, I don't care. If it's AAA and they did it because I don't care.
Oh, no, it ain't because of that. It's something that happened 10 minutes after she won.
Really? We already being called penises, and that's what you're going to throw out right now? Come on, man. You setting us back even further.
It's always one of the group, right?
Too much, and the ladies ain't saying nothing. We're proving TK's point right now. TK over there just doing work.
I mean, TK over here doing work. I finally got access back, so I guess I'm on the team now. I can actually do some articles
just
now.
For the AEW preview. Next story.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk about Dynamite.
Yeah,
I can give a brief.
let's do a AEW preview for Dylan.
Yeah, so tonight they're continuing the road to Double or Nothing from Norfolk, Virginia. And we have one more semifinal match in the Owen Hart men's tournament. Kyle Fletcher taking on Hangman Adam Page. We're also going to hear from the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate and MJF, and we'll see what happens with that storyline. Also, we get to see my client, the Timeless One, the AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, taking on Miyu Yamashita. That's going to be an interesting match. Also, of course, we have that all-star 8-man tag team match. Mark Briscoe, Kenny Omega, Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight taking on Kazuchika Okada, Ricochet, and the Young Bucks. And there is a lot of history and also fact. Kenny Omega will be across the ring from Okada for the first time since 2018. And also at the top of the hour, you get to have a watch along with me at 8 p.m. tonight. And you can also watch it on TBS and it'll simulcast on Max.
Percy gonna be there?
No.
Percy not coming back?
Yeah,
No.
so that's a serious question. He won and done?
No, he came back. I think it was just a one-time thing because it was in his hometown last week.
Okay.
It's a one-time thing.
I was hoping
Yeah,
that
he
would
made
have
him say
to be
on,
more.
kept it pushing.
I think Percy should come back.
Oh my goodness. Is there anything else that you gentlemen would like to talk about before we get out of here?
Any highlights from Monday Night Raw y'all was feeling? The Deadly Alliance and giving Mick Foley Jr. that work.
You know, you'll be proud of me, Councilman. I was watching Monday Night Raw. I was watching Sammy's match, and I texted my boy. I was like, "This gonna hurt me to say, but Sammy really Mick Foley. Well, he just the one that just got to take the ass whooping for the team. It's a damn shame. Need to whoop somebody's ass and get a little heat on you. Hey, Sammy, what you doing tonight? Oh, I'm supposed to. Yeah, you ain't doing that tonight. You got to go take about 3 more spears while the crowd's sitting here chanting one more time, and the man is dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, this crowd has gotten crazy. This crowd has gotten insane. Any thoughts to Becky and Lyra's interaction with one another?
The most
Man,
personality Lyra's had since she's been in the States, honestly. I think Becky's probably the perfect person to bring that character out of her that we've so desperately wanted. And I love that she's similar to what Cody did with John. I like the way she's leaning into the fact that, hey, I'm a better wrestler than you at the end of the day. And I think that's going to help carry their feud. And we finally are going to get the title on a PLE. So wins for everybody.
Yeah, I enjoyed Lyra's promo a lot, and it really did show a little bit of character development. And also very happy her and Becky are taking on at Backlash. And this is like no disrespect to Dakota Kai or Ivy Nile, but at just finding a credible challenger for Lyra for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a request. Dylan, selfishly, if you can take that Lyra promo with her talking to Becky real hot shit, if you can take that promo and put it over what happened to that boy, I would really appreciate that. Selfishly, I need that.
You know what? I second that. Do that, please.
TK, let me ask you this about Raw before we get into what you want to talk about. What are your thoughts on the match we now know that's also happening at Backlash? Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
Man, I actually was hoping. Yeah, it was. It's gonna be interesting because I mean, obviously, Pat, like he's trained and we've seen him in the ring before, but that's not what he does. So I'm predicting that Pat's gonna take like a crazy beat down, but they're gonna tell a story in it. I'm wondering though why. No shade to the story because I thought when he got choked out last week. So funny story. So obviously we saw that last week, and then I was at the gym on Tuesday, and then I saw him on a show because at the gym they show his show, and I was like, oh, because I thought this usually when something happens like that, I'm like, oh, he's just gonna go on a vacation. So they were showing it. Yeah, he talked about it, but they were showing it, and we obviously I'm in the gym, so I'm not hearing anything. So one of the girls sat beside me, she's like, man, like, how can that possibly happen? And he's still working. So that was funny because she doesn't watch wrestling. So that's a whole side thing. So my thing is like, why with so many people on the roster? Like initially I thought it was something for him to either he had like another job to handle or he was going on vacation. But now it's obviously since we saw this Monday, it's turning into a whole nother storyline where he's going to be having a match at Backlash. With as many wrestlers they have on the roster, I'm wondering how did they get to this point? Did Pat say he wanted to have a match and they made it happen through this? Or like I just don't understand. It's not like we're light on wrestlers that they couldn't have another story happening for another match on Backlash. So I think to Professor's point in me wanting to know the ins and outs and how things happen, this is where the Writers' Room thing later on, I wouldn't necessarily say it should happen simultaneously with what's happening. But if I were to watch this 6 months from now and I would get the answer, I'm like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. That's why I would love to watch like the show that's going to debut on Netflix. So long story short, I just don't understand why. I just want to know the reasoning behind it.
I think it's just to write Pat off of television for a while. If you follow what's going on in the sports world, and I mean like whatever bidding war Disney has between Pat and Stephen A. Smith and whatever allegations might be following Pat, people are always surfacing something. So maybe it's just a way to get Pat off TV while things are going on there. But I think that's really what it is. At the end of the day, I think it's more about Pat than it is about Gunther.
And that's what I was wondering. Because I wondered, like, okay, I didn't see he got choked out, but then the next day he was on his show. So I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was just something light. So if they do that, then it makes sense. So
and is it a neck brace? That's what Khan did. You gotta sell the neck brace, Pat.
Right?
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
So it's the issue that it's Pat versus Gunther, or it's the issue that it's the match as a whole?
It's Pat versus Gunther, just like it's Jay versus Logan. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Well, Jay versus, and for people who don't like Logan, I get that, but Logan is classified as a wrestler. And I think
it makes sense. Yeah, as his first match, this works. I get it.
As Pat's first match?
No, as like Jay's first title defense.
Okay. Yeah,
it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, with Pat, it just didn't make sense. It's like, okay, well, is this because we're needing to get him off of television? Versus like there's three different things that are happening, right? You have WWE, they need to get return on investment, so they're making money moves. Then you have the storyline. How does that make sense? Then you're catering to the wrestlers and whatever they need. As somebody gets pregnant or they need a vacation, or Xavier, every September he goes away for his birthday. Like those are the three kind of buckets that they're needing to fill. So in my head, again, okay, well, why is this happening? Because if none of those existed, and now you're just catering to the storyline, would this really happen? That's kind of where my mind's going.
Well, it has. Like to the way you just broke it down, now that starts to make sense. Because just like to Mayor's point, we need to get him off of TV, but we also need to make our investment. We know how much of an audience Pat McAfee brings with his people. Mm-hmm. But then also this storyline has been developing for several months, because every time Gunther comes out, Gunther has an interaction with Pat McAfee by the announcement table. So this story has been trickling down for a couple of months, and it gives Gunther one, not to squash a wrestler that may need it, because I really don't think any man on the Raw roster can take a defeat from Gunther right now. And you for damn sure can't give it to Finn. Finn do not need to get his ass whooped no more.
No.
JD don't need to get his ass whooped no more. Chad Gable can't take an L. You can't make El Grande Americano take an L. So it's like, what do you feed Gunther? So it's like,
Right.
okay, let's give this man a side quest and bump his character up to be a little bit more chaotic, since that's what people have been saying. He's been too stoic. He's been this. We want to see like this more mad king of Gunther. It's like, okay, so here we have this to where it now fills all of that up, and it gives us a match that we can fill up St. Louis for Backlash.
Yeah, and with Pat McAfee's audience, people will either tune in because they like Pat, or on the other side, they'll hate watch it. So it kind of works from Gunther from that standpoint, and they can't sugarcoat it. Like Pat can't get no offense off. I need Rocky.
He
IV.
will. That's the problem. It's going to be
No,
about
he
a
will.
10-minute match, and he's going to get way too much off. You know what they're doing? All they're literally doing is running back to the JR and the King playbook. That's all this is.
Yeah, because he's gonna definitely try to get the punt kickoff.
They're running back this
Literally got to
playbook.
be Rocky IV. Like Michael Cole, since Michael Cole is a sympathetic figure here, he has to plead with the ref to stop the match. He has to throw in the towel.
That'd be dope.
That's what this is about. This is about I'm protecting my friend Michael Cole, and Gunther need to spam the fuck out these power bombs. I need like 7 of them in a row.
Gunther need to chop the shit out of Michael Cole too, just so if you
Please.
don't have Pat do
Just
something,
off GP.
yeah,
Nah,
you just gotta take a chop. Batman, Michael Cole gotta take a chop from Gunther.
If we want Gunther to be really cynical and on a rampage, he gotta forgive me. He gotta chop Triple H. Right in the,
Hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
you know,
You try to kill the man, literally.
it's for the play on story.
Yeah, but you know, man, like
No, let him chop Adam Pierce. There you go. Let him just chop Pierce to hell.
yeah. But also too, this builds up for Gunther's next feud, because if the next person doesn't come out during Backlash, they can come out during Raw. And then that leads us to Gunther's next match. If it's Goldberg, I'm here for it. Fuck it.
The time's ticking on the summer. It's like we know it's going to be a summer match for Goldberg in the final. It's going to be Goldberg.
Yeah.
It's already
Don't nobody
ticking.
want that.
None of us want it. Is it going to happen? Yes. It's definitely going to happen. But I think we had a story about Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, speaking of things nobody wanted. I was segueing it into the prime suit. Good God, one of y'all got to tighten up.
Lord, I was like, well, we both threw it to you.
My God.
This is what happens. We got 500 screens up and you're not paying attention to the show.
See,
And
your
you
show.
sending an email.
Not 500, just 5.
That's why
so
your
he turned
screen
out.
is buffering right now.
Well, I apologize. So Stone Cold turned down $1 million offer from Logan Paul to dress up as, I would turn that down too. Dress up as the Prime bottle. I want to do that if I were Stone Cold. That don't make no sense.
Well, you don't need the money, TK. So I mean, that's why you would turn it down.
If you were Stone Cold, you would take $1 million. If you were Stone Cold, not if you were said. If you were
Do I gotta
Stone
take a bump?
Cold, would you take $1 million to drive?
Do I have to take a bump? Do you
I think it
find
would've
out
led
that it's me in the
to
suit?
I think it would have led to him stunnering somebody ultimately in a segment.
Yeah, what's the context behind this? Like, what was it for? Like a
And if
segment?
hindsight's for real, then maybe he don't crash the RV or the ATV.
That was
if he does that.
That was really funny.
That was
Well, he said that was a different throttle system than what he was
Yeah.
used to. So, you know.
Yeah,
also he was drunk, so there's that too.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Because he crashed twice. He crashed twice.
Allegedly.
We're professionals here. Allegedly.
Oh, okay, he was allegedly drunk.
I think it's probably the way Logan presented it to him. He didn't probably bring out the spreadsheets and the information like, hey, we really want you for this brand. He probably was like, hey, do you want to do this? And it's like, no, I'm not fucking with that. What's wrong with you?
I mean, Austin did say that basically, like, I'm in the beer industry. I don't know nothing about his product, nothing about the ingredients. I don't know if it's good for you. He was basically like, it just does not align with my brand, which, to his credit, he is correct. 100%. And also, like, Austin is the safe, lovable person that we all love. Between him and Pancho giving him the business on Twitter and Instagram on a regular basis, and all the cat videos and everything, everybody loves Stone Cold Steve Austin, universally across the board. Logan Paul, on the other hand, is about as divisive comes. So if you see Austin pop out in a prime bottle, now it becomes eh. And if you're Stone Cold, do you really want that on your resume? Like Taker and Kane have that on their resume in the form of an orange stain. So like if you're Austin, everybody just loves you. You're safe. You're likable. You're the drunk uncle, basically. Like, so why would you do something harmful to your brand? Plus, you have a good beer, like both, like the lager and the IPA, the Broken Skull beer is good. Unlike the racist that's about 4 hours down the road in Tampa St. Pete in his watered down beer.
Here's my thing. I don't think the amount was enough. That's my opinion.
That too. But again, what's the context of it? What's the context of me in a prime suit for $1 million?
Because here's my thing. Beyonce performed at a bar mitzvah for $7 million. So
that's actual work though.
Yeah. But again, she's like the top in her division of what she does. Stone Cold definitely goes on Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So you bump that number up outside of $1 million. Like if you're gonna have him dress up in the prime bottle, it's like I'll give you $3 to $4 million to dress up in the prime bottle because
3 to 4.
Yeah, because more than that actually. Because to TK's point, if we thinking about return on investment, you know how much money Logan Paul is gonna make having Stone Cold in a prime bottle, and how much he's gonna turn that into ads.
Good point.
I just take $1 million in points. Give me $1 million in points our percentage.
Yeah.
It feels personality wise like to his core. It would have to be like you're right, and I forgot who said that. Like everybody has a price, but the price would be so astronomical. I don't think they'd be able to afford it because it just seems like Stone Cold is just in such a great place in life. Like he is genuinely, and I've had the opportunity to meet and interview him. He just seems genuinely happy, meaning that like he's in such a good point in life. You can't add or take away whatever like he has. So it's like to say like it, just the mere thought of him dressing up in a suit, like in a like a costume, doesn't even make sense. So that means that like there has to be some type of ridiculous amount of money, and I don't think that Prime would be able to afford that for it to make sense on both parties.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Stone Cold turned down appearing in WrestleMania 40 because the price wasn't right. And this with TKO behind the helm, and he said no.
Well, they probably try to lowball him too.
But they could afford it. They could afford it. But they chose not to do it. So if he didn't even show up for WrestleMania because the price wasn't right, it's like, come on, man. You think he finna dress up in your shitty ass energy drink to promote your shit?
Like everybody has a price. Like would you, yeah, but would you Said or Jacob or Will, like, would you if they said we'll pay you $25 to dress up in that? I'm willing to bet, and I might be wrong, that's not enough.
Convo starts at 2.5 mil.
First of all, it cost me $25 to get out of my seat right now where I'm at right now.
So, everybody,
But again, too, like to Jacob's point, it's also context. Like, what was the context in this? Like, if it's a segment where Logan Paul is talking shit and the Prime mascot is right there and then takes the top off and is Stone Cold, that's a different scenario now.
No, I don't think I think it, no matter what context, it just was not going to play.
No, because if you think about it, if it goes with the story, that works. You get what I'm saying? Because then it goes like to Jacob's point, it goes into a stunner. Like we've seen Austin do that before in some type of way when it comes to a rivalry. But if it's just like, hey, I want you to put on this Prime mascot outfit so we can take pictures and shoot video, it's like, yo, it's $1 million just to get him out the house.
Or if I gotta take a bump for you in this outfit, yeah, dog, we gonna need a little bit more than that.
Yeah, this ain't I show speed, bro. Like,
oh God.
And that's how much he paid I show speed for that.
Oh yeah, well there it is.
Well, there you go.
So we can let Courtney relax a little bit before she starts doing her watch along. We'll start with you, Courtney. Where can everybody find you?
People can find me at the top of the hour. I'll be doing my watch along for AEW Dynamite. You don't know who is going to be joining on the watch along, but it'll be continuing the road to Double or Nothing. You can also follow me on socials on at CourtneyNJ11. And also, there is going to be a lot of content happening. We just posted interviews at Queen of the Ring. Queen of the Ring content is in full force and will be posting up. Also, next Saturday, if you are in Morristown, New Jersey, you can meet me and Honey because we will be at 90s Wrestling Con where we will be going back to the 90s. And it's very interesting because one of the guests is Eric Bischoff, and he just made an announcement today. So that'll be very interesting to see. Eric Bischoff, Ken Shamrock, with the exception of The Rock, all the members of Nation of Domination will be there. So we will be getting content for that next weekend, and feel free to say hello to us.
Tell Ken Shamrock he owe Will $3. He gonna know what you're talking about. Just say it just like that, and he gonna know who you talking about.
No,
do I even want to know the story behind this?
That was a past life before I got over here to LA and was doing all of this. But Ken Shamrock know what's up. Just close your tab out. That's all I
ask. Jacob DeLawrence, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram at Why Am I the Meg Griffin of WWT. You can also find me on Twitter /X at I really feel like I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of this. You know, that's it. I show up when I can, and y'all let me in the building and remember I exist. Now that I have a login, I guess I should probably do some more articles before I get demoted back to former staff.
Well, you're getting added to the website, so congratulations. You can find Jacob's profile in a few days.
Like I've been here for like over a year and some change. Like,
yeah, but your year, like with the amount of times that you have been showing up to last year, was probably equivalent to a couple of months.
And this is why I don't come to work. This right here is why I don't come to work. Where's our HR rep? Where's Professor?
Anyway, Zed, where can everybody find you?
Zed's about to pound the streets.
I'm gonna be humble today. I'm gonna save my rant for Friday because I don't want to jinx it. But just know I'm waging war on all New Yorkers and everything New York. Pistons in 7. I'll talk more about this on Friday after we get Game 6. Find me on the Twitter streets at says, like it reads right there on the screen. On the gram, it says the answer. There is a lot of content in store, including our Queen of the Ring rundown that we got going on, some MLW content. Look out for their show in Chicago, I believe, early next week. MLW in Chicago. And then, of course, the WrestleMania stuff is still currently coming out. Some more interviews there. We got some nice stuff we're working on. But yeah, Pistons in 7. And
can we kick Sindel out the chat real quick? Because
I don't think Professor would approve of you calling him that.
Right?
Will, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at penis number 3. Still fighting for our rights to be treated as equals here on WWT. That's all we're looking for. No new podcasts is out and stuff like that because obviously, you know, we're not allowed to have those here on WWT. Hopefully, kayfabe is still going to be able to go. Luckily, Honey's on there, so she hasn't canceled it here on the WWT network.
Yeah, I just told you to add it to the website.
Huh?
I just told you to add it to the website.
You also just told me to add Jacob to the website after you said take him off of there as well.
He was never on, so he could have been taken off.
I was on at one point, and then we got an updated website. So,
right. Yeah.
Which means you removed me, which means I got removed.
Everybody got removed.
Yeah, but I never got put back on. Kind of like when you took me out of the group, and then it was like, oh, snap, we put him back in the group.
You're hardly there. Well, that one was an accident. But the website part is like, you were hardly here.
That one.
But also just join me Saturday as well on the Penis March on 7th here in Los Angeles. We're fighting for our rights. We'll have performances by George Clinton, Jewel. Whitney Shepherd is going to be there. And so many more.
Oh, we should announce the possible good. Well, it's not possible good news, but something that you guys could be looking out for my folks who are in Los Angeles or who are planning on being in Los Angeles. June 6th, we are going to have a WWT get together. So if you are finding yourself in Los Angeles, June 6th, yes, you're invited. Said we are going to be releasing the information soon.
WWT get together featuring who? Because you volunteer me to be meeting people.
I just got it. Well, I just got approved for the location today, so it's happening.
And we found out that all penises will need to use the back door.
Phrasing. Are we still doing phrasing?
Yes.
Since TK posted that clip that we try to get rid of all the time. TK, where can the good people find and support you?
You can find me everywhere.
Look at you walking out here with your hair done, nails done, everything did. What you think you fancy, huh?
Oh my God.
Look, Sindel gave you a compliment.
I don't even know what interview you're talking about.
Probably Queen of the Ring.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, y'all. You can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at www talkpod.com. Check out the website. Check out all the interviews that are dropped. That's not even. We got like 10 or 20 more to go. From Queen of the Ring, from WrestleMania, etc. So definitely keep it locked for all of that. With that being said, make sure you keep it locked in the next 20 minutes for our watch along AEW watch along with Courtney and so much more. With that, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkPod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.